What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here. It's been a little while, I'm not going to lie. Things have been busy, doing all sorts of paperwork and stuff with this house purchase, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into this. Let's check out some animals during this winter break. So as I said, guys, I'm going to check out a few animals here just to make sure that they're doing okay during this winter break. I'm going to do a water change on Loki and give him a bit of a clean up because that's been a little bit neglected, I'm not going to lie. And I've got a lot of fish in there, so I just want to make sure that that water's nice and clean because that is his drinking water at the end of the day. So we're also going to check out a few animals and just make sure things are going along okay, making sure everybody's, no stuck sheds, no kind of like super hungry animals or anything like that. I just want to make sure everybody's okay. Just noticed that my frill neck heat light is out. That's something I need to go up to Bunnings and get a whole bunch more heat lights for. But currently with lockdown, that's a little bit hard. Luckily, I do kind of keep a whole bunch on hand here, so that shouldn't be an issue. So we're going to warm him back up. I have reduced the light hours on these guys quite a bit, so they only kind of get a lot of midday heat. There's not really any sort of like morning and afternoon heat anymore. But yeah, I thought I'd get you guys into this, show you around a little bit, show you what's happening a little bit. Give you a few updates along the way. I don't know what we're going to look at in particular. It's a nice little diamond hanging out there. But yeah, we'll get into it. We'll have a little fun. So I've got to get into this rack over here, spruce up a few enclosures. There's a few little poos and stuff getting around. Things like the little black-headed monitors. You can barely see them in that little crack there. These guys like to hide in the little cracks. There's another one up the top there. But yeah, I might give them a new hollow log as well, just something else to climb in. I think that this enclosure is just a little bit too bare at the moment. You can see those plants didn't do too crash hot. Unfortunately, I'm just trying to rule these kind of things out. I am going to spruce this up, but probably not until I end up moving. Same as the plants that were in with the white berber as well. They ended up crashing like all of a sudden. It was like overnight they just went, which was really shocking, unfortunately. I am trying out my hand at a little bit of fungi as well, so more fungi. You can see these guys are so cryptic and so cool. I'm blending in with the back wall there. There's another one just under this little cave here. Whoa. The gimbal allows me to get in there. So yeah, down the line I will be replanting this out. Prickly forest skink enclosure, however, absolutely cranking along. These ferns are loving life, which is really cool. Same as this one. I have to clean this one up as well. Brown tree snake. I haven't even fed it in a couple of weeks, but it still craps. Kind of weird. But yeah, the Banksia is doing pretty good in this enclosure so far. And the bird's nest fern, well, the bird's nest ferns are pretty easy, so that one's not going to be too hard. I can see a little Gillens female checking me out over here. Hello, darling. How you doing? Bit snoozy. But yeah, other than that, we're going to go around. I'm going to defrost some food for these Gillens. I need to top up their water bowls because all their water bowls are pretty much dry. These guys have been really inactive, but I thought I might get a bit of the meat mix out and give them a little bit of an opportunity to have a feed today. So might do that a little later as well. Let's have a look at this. This is my cornutus enclosure. This thing's cranking along too. The moss, could be doing a little bit better. I probably just need to get a little bit more water onto there a bit more often. I can see a leaf tail right there. Look at that spiky cornutus. But yeah, this enclosure is doing really well. This plant's absolutely grown in. I forget the name of it. I want to say it's like a Hardenbergia or something like that. But yeah, I love these leaves and I love the kind of veining and stuff on these leaves. They're absolutely gorgeous. I think I'm going to have to put some of this in my Boyd's Forest Dragon enclosure as well because that's quite cool. But yeah, that enclosure is absolutely cranking along. Speaking of the Boyd's Forest Dragon enclosure, I finally, hello green tree pythons. Hello bearded dragon. I finally put the sliding door track in, so I'm going to measure that up for glass and hopefully it'll work. I know we've got a stack of glass at work, so I might coax Ben into cutting me some glass doors for this. I've got the plants in there at the moment just in their pots, but that's just so they got a little bit of light and I'm just kind of watering them. keeping them going, but I cannot wait to move into our own place and finally fill this enclosure out. That's going to be so good. It'll be awesome to get these little guys out of their little box. I want to give the Kimberley rock monitor enclosure a bit of a clean up too, just kind of spot cleaning it. There's a couple of little poos over here. I have to get the toothbrush and a bit of hot water onto there, get those nuggets off nice and easy. We might check out a few of the snakes as well that are over in the rack over here and make sure that they're doing okay. And at some point as well, I'm going to clean these little guys up, and we'll give a little hello to the baby Gillens monitors that I got here as well. Think about my new jumper as well. This is kind of like a prototype that I made up on Teespring. The Dartria Crew. That's for all those guys that are right into their little rock monitors, tree monitors, and all the sort of small monitors in Australia, all that Dartria group. I bloody love these lizards. They're so good. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye out. I will put this up on Teespring shortly, as well as all the other gear that I've got up on there. Links are in the description below. But go and check it out, especially if you do want to support the channel. You know, it's a really good way to do that if you don't want to jump onto Patreon or any of the other means. But yeah, I'll really appreciate that, and you can get yourself some pretty cool merch as well. All right, most of the chores are done. We're going to go and chill out with this beautiful little diamond up on the back lawn, should it let us. He was cruising around, having a bit of fun, so I thought I'd give it a proper stretch. Gonna miss being able to do this in my apartment. How beautiful is this snake? This thing's going to be smelling bandicoots and all sorts because the lawn's absolutely destroyed by them at the moment. And check out all these holes. I've been out here looking for grubs. Look at that beautiful face. These guys are absolutely stunning animals. They're so good. I love the dark nostril pits on these guys, or on the scales rather. This particular animal is supposedly a Gosford locality. You'll have to excuse my neighbours, they're doing some essential renovations. But yeah, the dark patterns on this snake's head, so cool. This one's one of my smaller ones. Probably only about, I'm going to estimate 1.2 meters, about that sort of size. These scales in the sun, so good, so gold, so yellow. Time for Mr. Diamond to go back home. Got to try to not get it stuck in plants. There you go. Back into all your leaf litter. Look at them just disappear. How cool is that? Straight under those cabbage tree palm leaves. You can barely see it in there now. So let's check out these Gillens Monitors. My little babies. I have to see if I can kind of prop this camera up in a good way. Let's have a look at these little tykes. Full of spunk, aren't you? Where are you all? I'm missing a few. Oh, there's the other ones. Ah, there's a little bit of old egg in there too you guys didn't eat. Good on ya. I'll get all that out for you. Jeez, there's a bit of it in here. They must have kicked it everywhere under everything so I couldn't actually see it. Oh well. Better late than never. Yeah, how gorgeous are these little guys? These are phenomenal little monitors. They all look to be in pretty good condition. There's one little tiny one here that maybe that was the one that was a little bit of a late bloomer, should I say. Or maybe it happens to be a little girl or something. It's still got good body condition. Uh-oh, can't let you go now, otherwise you're straight up and out of this tub. It's hard doing this one-handed. There we go. They're beautiful little animals. They've all got kind of like little individual patterns too, where some have got like more oranges and things through their bands, some are a little bit less patterned like this guy here. This one's got a nice stripe down the tail as well, whereas some of these guys have a bit of banding across the tail. The little guy's actually got some of the best colours, I reckon. It's got that real reds and oranges through those bands. I love the juvenile coloration of Gillens Monitors. They're so stunning. I'm already starting to be able to tell or have a pretty good idea of some sexes and stuff like that in here as well. And this one walking around's got a big buffy head, so I reckon the chances are that's probably a good boy. Whereas, even though this one's got quite a large head as well, it's quite narrow. So I'm reckoning that was probably going to be a girl. That one could potentially be a boy as well. It's got a very wide head. Whereas, yeah, the other couple, I reckon we might have a few girls here, which would be good. Need a couple more girls. The Gilleni army. Man, definitely kicked around a bit of the egg. You guys love the meat mix as well, so these guys are going to be excited to get into a bit of that. I'll put all their little hollows back down now, so they've got somewhere to go and feel nice and secure in. I like to have these stacked like this, and then I have the tile on top, because what this does is it actually radiates the heat from the... Watch out, mate. You going to go under? Okay. It radiates the heat from the heat light above and kind of lets that warm up, and that holds a lot of temperature, especially in through the night. Oh, look who it is. It's Dad. Hey, Gilbert. How you going, mate? Bit sleepy? These guys are going to be getting really chilly soon, because I'm going to turn the heat light off to those guys for a couple of weeks. That'll hopefully produce a few more of these little guys this year, and I'm hoping to actually let some go this year for the guys that are already waiting on my waiting list and have been waiting on my waiting list for years. So it'll be good to finally release a few, I think. So while we are at it, bit of shine on the top of the head there. While we are at it, I want to check out one last little critter and make sure he's okay. I say one last, I want to check out all of them really, but this one, he's been hunkered down for a little while now, and I want to make sure that he's okay. This is Oakley the Sheox Skink. Haven't seen him in a little while, so I'm trying to make sure that he's still okay, but I think he's just, wintering quite well. Oh, here he is. A little bit sleepy and a little bit cranky. I just wanted to make sure that this little guy was doing okay. Hadn't seen him in a couple of months. He's a little bit fiery, that's alright. How beautiful is this little skink? See if I can get a bit of a better shot for you. There we are. Such a gorgeous little animal. It's like a miniature blue tongue. He's all huffy and puffy. He's got the he's not happy that I woke him up, so I will put him back. But I just wanted to make sure that he's okay. And he seems perfectly fine. He was just hunkered down underneath some of that eucalyptus mulch. I love this little skink, and I haven't seen him in a long time, so I just wanted to make sure that he's still doing alright. He's nice and cold. He's okay. Tough little things, these guys. I'd love to know the locality of this little guy. I should ask Marcus what he reckons the locality could potentially be. Oh, I'm so glad to have this little dude in the collection. Such a beautiful little animal. Isn't he cool? Love the little tongue flicker. It's unreal. He's probably getting ready to bite me. Alright, I'll put him back. But I'm glad to see he's doing okay, and I just wanted to show you guys this little cool dude as well, because I don't think he gets enough screen time compared to some of the other animals here. So here's another project that I've started, guys. This one's pretty cool. This was inspired by Coop with his pygmy python enclosure. I have to give him a massive shout out. I really like the technique that he used on making his pygmy python enclosure, so I tried to replicate it somewhat with my own kind of flair on it. But yeah, this enclosure is going to be for my Oedura fimbria. It's a little bit hard to kind of see what the final outcome will be, but maybe that's a bit of a better view. That's how it'll be kind of sitting. I really need to get to Bunnings. This bloody lockdown's killing me. I need more foam. I need more tile pointing. I need silicone. I need all sorts of stuff. I want to finish this one off before I move in a couple of weeks' time, just so I can have them go straight into that and get them out of the tiny box that they're currently in. But yeah, this is kind of replicated off those, stacked rocks in the Pilbara and stuff that you see, real cracks and stuff like that, which has been really interesting getting tile pointing down in that sort of gear. And I think this one's going to be a bit of probably a 4 coats, I reckon I'm going to do on this one in the end. But that's just like the initial coat that I've done over there. And as you can see, it does build up in all these little kind of holes and stuff that I've formed, but I kind of wanted it to do that because I made those really deep on purpose of filling them, but still leaving like a rough texture over everything. So yeah, still playing around with ideas and still getting inspired from other guys out there, such as Coop and Cam and Greenies and all sorts of the guys that are out there. Matt Somerville, man, he makes some awesome stuff as well. And seeing some of the stuff, I really want to see Jake Meaney do some stuff. I know he's going to be doing a rough scale build eventually. But yeah, we'll see how we go there. Just thought I'd show you guys that. We've got stacks of rubbish in this garage at the moment, but that's just because we're getting ready to move and getting rid of all sorts of garbage that we don't need. I'm starting to kind of play out with the layout of a smaller rack as well for the Exoterra room. So this one will be filled with just kind of like those little 30 centimetre deep enclosures. But we'll see how we go. See if these little guys want a little tongue-fed mince. I know you want to. Good lizard. Well done. The other guys will probably come out a little bit later and suss this all out when the big scary hairy monkey's not here. But I figured that's probably one of the smaller ones in there and it was out, so I'd give it a tongue feed and see if it took it. That's good. I like to try to do this straight off the bat and just see if I can build a little bit of a relationship with them. It doesn't have to be anything fantastic, but just enough to make sure that they're eating and doing what they need to do. There's one of the black-headed monitor hatchlings out and about. Stunning animals. These guys were bred from Kurt Lamotte from K&E Family Reptiles. Whoop, pulling back in focus there. Still getting used to this gimbal. Yeah, you can see that I actually gave their enclosure a little bit of a spruce up. Also added in a hollow log there. It's kind of like a half hollow, so it's not a full hollow, but that'll give them something they can get into the back of it and hang out. Something else that they can kind of get up and underneath the UVB up on this side. I just kind of scraped down their soil and stuff, made it all nice and even again so they weren't going to get into the drainage layer. The other guy's actually just hiding right in that crack there. You can just see a tail poking out. Yeah, these guys are doing really well. I'll put some of this meat mix in there to keep them nice and happy. I'm looking forward to when they're a decent size and they can get out of this enclosure, and I'm looking forward to making them something new. I like this one. I'm not as happy with it as some of the other ones that I've done, so it'd be nice to redo this one down the line, I reckon. So So I decided I'd get these water pythons out and give them a bit of a check over, because sometimes during winter these guys can have some pretty horrible sheds. I think I've kind of solved that problem this winter though by just giving them some massive water bowls and keeping them a little bit more hydrated that way. These guys are absolutely fiery even in winter. He's a little bit cranky and doesn't want to really be handled or anything. But yeah, there's a little bit of dry shed around the neck, so maybe he's not using the water bowl as much as what he usually would, but that's okay. It's not too bad, and you know, coming into spring very shortly, it should kind of come off quite easily. Yeah, the only other way that I could think about doing it is maybe giving him some like heated water or something of the sorts, but yeah, cranky little guys, aren't they? It's going to be fun when these guys are like 6-7 foot, that's for sure. Maybe I need to give them a bit more handling and stuff like that down the line. These guys get a bad rap. Bad rap in captivity. They're really placid in the wild, but geez, in captivity they seem to be little firecrackers. So I'm just checking over my little children's pythons here as well, making sure that they're okay. I'm not sure if the female's going to lay some eggs this year. I didn't pump her full of food like I did the last couple of years, so we'll see how we go there. We might be lucky, we might get some. There was a shed in their enclosure. I generally just put these guys together about beginning mid-April and just leave them alone until some eggs appear. I don't really do anything too fancy for these guys. They just feel the ambient temperature drop and that's enough to cycle them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we do get some this year. Still pretty early though. I wouldn't be expecting eggs until, well actually these guys laid, I think it was late August last year. So it'll be interesting to see whether we get some or not. This little one just had a little bit of stuck shed at the end of the tail, so glad I checked. Make sure I get that off so it doesn't hang on there too tight. We'll go and check on the partner as well. It's definitely the female that had shed, because the male's in shed. Pretty deep shed right now actually, his eyes are nice and blue. Yeah, he's a little bit smaller versus the female here, so. You know, these guys, they're such a common snake in the hobby, but they're fantastic little animals. I really love them as a species. I think they're very, very underrated animals. This particular pair, I think they're about probably 13, 14 years old or something now, if I'm not mistaken. So these guys are a pretty old little pair of snakes, but very cool nonetheless. Oh, Billy's all nice and cozy now, nice and warm. He's looking pretty good, the old fella. He's such a beautiful lizard. I absolutely love this dude. He's a big boy and he takes up a lot of space and doesn't do a hell of a lot, but he's a cool display animal nonetheless. Alright guys, I hope you really enjoyed this update of just a few little things going around here and a few little health checks and stuff going on. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to drop the video a like, drop a comment down below of what you want to see next as well, or if you want to see any sort of like particular animal highlights or anything of the sort. Make sure to subscribe along to the channel and make sure to go and check out Patreon and Teespring as well if you want to support the channel even further. Thank you so much for watching guys, and I shall catch you in the next video. See ya.